Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I put together 20 of my favorite Christmas Dollar Tree DIYs. This is going to be a really fun video. I hope you enjoy. So we're going to be doing a lot of Santa Claus, a lot of reindeer, very traditional Christmas DIYs today. And we're going to do a shabby chic makeover of this little Santa Claus sign. At first, I was just going to leave his face like natural wood, but then I was thinking it might be a little too light, so I decided to give it a light stain by mixing mostly water with Antique Wax by Waverly, and I'm only staining this part of his face because the rest of him is going to be covered with different materials. And then I need to paint his nose, and then I also decided to give him little rosy cheeks. So I'm using just some salmon colored acrylic and one of those little stencil brushes from the Dollar Tree, little dauber, to give me a perfect circle. Then I'm going to mix a little white in with that same color to give a little pink nose to our Santa Claus. Now for the hat, we're going to be using one of the little chair covers that look like giant Santa hats from Dollar Tree. It's not real plush, but that's what I wanted. I wanted like a fabric that I could use for his hat that would be able to kind of fold and go around that curve and kind of look a little bit more high end than the plushy stuff, but you can kind of use whatever you have. Now, the tricky part is kind of getting it cut to size. I just cut a little square out, and then I'm going to hot glue it right there on the upper part of that little cutout for the brim of his hat. Once I get that glue down, I can kind of cut off the excess material there. That part's going to be covered, so you don't have to worry about cutting that neat or anything. And then I'm going to hot glue it right here, making sure that I am purposely like leaving like little folds in the fabric to kind of give it kind of a more luxurious like 3D feel there. And so I kind of left like 2 or 3 like little major folds there, and I glue that down on that side too. At first I thought about folding it over, but then I decided, this is going to be a standing project. I wanted to have a clean back. So I decided just to cut my fabric using some sharp scissors and just cutting it like straight with the line of the wood sign. Now, I was inspired to make this Santa Claus today by, I saw a picture on a blog. I think it was called Faux Your Eyes Only. I'll be sure to include a link to it in the video description below, but she made a really cute little Santa like this that was shabby chic, and I wanted to see if I could kind of recreate it, but only using supplies from the Dollar Tree. So far, everything's from the Dollar Tree, including the little mop head. I love using these. I always stock up for these for winter because I use them for fake snow, but they also work great for Santa Claus hats and for mustaches is what we're going to use here. So I want to cover that top brim of the Santa Claus hat with this. And it's a little tricky, so I just kind of cut down a rectangle that's about the right width. And then I'm going to like round the edges, and be aware when you cut these little mop heads from the Dollar Tree, they shed a lot. So kind of be prepared to that. I was trying to just cut the fabric on the back. One of you guys gave that to me as a tip, and it did help a little bit. And cut out like that little upside down U shape there to go on the top of the hat. Just a matter of kind of pulling out any of the excess shedding and shaping that. Now I'm just going to hot glue that down, kind of covering up the fabric that was folded there in the top to give me a fluffy little Santa hat. So cute. We're not going to do any eyes or anything on this. Maybe the Santa hat is covering his eyes. Maybe he's a little bit more abstract. But that's how he looks so far, and so cute. Now for the beard, she had hers with like lace and fabric, like rags, and so I'm going to try to do the same. Now this is a white lace ribbon that I got at the Dollar Tree, and then I'm also going to be using some of their white polyester fabric from the Dollar Tree. At first I was going to use that bag, but it did not want to shred. So this fabric shreds perfectly, and I'll show you what I mean with that. So I'm just cutting it down into a little piece here. I'm going to cut down a couple rectangles, and then I am going to kind of fold that in half here, or cut that in half again, so I have little squares. Then I just cut like little notches about every inch or so. And then all you have to do is grab the fabric and rip, and you get a nice, like, shabby chic little rag strips, which is what I was going for. So we're just going to go ahead and do a few to get us started. Now, when they have strings on the side, I do try to pull them out so it's not too crazy, but you do want them to look a little bit shredded. And then I am just going to start hot gluing these on. I kind of left my pretty parts there on the bottom, because if I need to go in and trim it up, that'll be the part I cut off. So I kind of want the rag look everywhere else. So I'm just gluing them right next to each other, and I want to do a band of these all the way across. So we're going to have to rip a few more. So I'm just going to cut some more strips, and I'm not measuring these or anything. I'm just kind of estimating. And finished off the first row. Then we're going to switch to the white lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to cut pieces about the same length. And what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to go in and like alternate in between each one of the little rag strips that we did. Now, I don't do the shabby chic look often. I have done it for like 4th of July, but I really love it. It's really pretty. And this really kind of inspired me. And so I'm trying to cut out enough of the little lace ribbons to kind of go in between each one and fill out our beard. One more here on the right. Now, it's not very full, and I want a full beard. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and repeat the process. So for the next row, I'm going to switch back to the little rag strips. This time I'm gluing those like directly on top of the ribbon, but kind of making them kind of go off to the side. I want a nice full beard on this little guy. And I've never made a Santa beard like this before, so it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun putting this guy together. And I apologize if my voice sounds like crazy. My husband got really sick over Thanksgiving. He's actually still sick. And he finally gave it to me and my son. I took my son back to college from Thanksgiving break, and now he's sick and has all this testing. Ugh, I don't know what it is, but I am chugging orange juice and ready for it to go away. Now, I said I wanted it full, so I'm going to do another row of the lace ribbon. And I am just cutting enough strips I think it's going to take to fill it out. And then again, I'm just going to hot glue those right in between the two rag strips. And this final layer made it nice and full, nice fluffy beard, and really fun. Now, if you're wondering what I'm going to do with the mustache, we're going to use the mop head that we used on the top of the Santa hat. So I still have some pieces left over. So what I need to do is kind of cut two little kind of C shapes for each side. So I get one cut down to size, and I kind of use that for reference to cut down another. And again, they are going to shed, so be prepared for that. And it's going to be a nice fluffy little mustache for our Santa Claus. I'm just going to glue that on with hot glue, trying to make sure it's not going to cover up too much of his face. To the left side and the right side. He is looking so cute and festive already. Gonna give him a quick trim there on his little mustache, make it not quite so full. And then I want to decorate his little hat. That chair cover from the Dollar Tree that we used for his hat actually had a little white pom-pom on the tip that's going to be just the right size. So I'm just going to go ahead and snip that off the end. And we can put that here on our Santa hat. Now on my inspiration piece, she put like pine cones and jingle bells and stuff like that. And I don't have a lot of room since I did the little ball on the end of the Santa hat, but I did still want to kind of include jingle bells. And I have some of these giant jingle bells that I picked up at Dollar Tree that are just the silver ones. So I just stringed that with some twine, and I'm just going to tie that on to the tip of the Santa hat just for fun. He is looking so cute. I want to make mine standing, and so I actually got one of these little signs here from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use that to make it a standing sign. You could always lean this up against something if you wanted, or you could make it a hanging sign. It did have like a hole in it originally, you know. And then I'm going to go in and trim. So I'm kind of like just kind of cutting at an angle for one side and then kind of reversing that angle over here to trim all of our ribbon and fabrics to kind of give them that Santa beard shape and make them not quite so random length. And I do have quite a few layers, so I got to make sure that I get them all. And then I'm going to attach that little Shabby Chic Santa to that little stand so he can stand up as part of my Christmas decor. I love using these to make stands. You could also use like the little wood circle frames if you can't find these, but I don't have any trouble finding these. I use these all the time. But I am going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue because it's metal. I want to make sure that this stays together. And, you know, metal and hot glue doesn't always play nice, but I do want it on there for the quick hold. And this Santa hat sign, even with all that stuff we added to it, was still not very heavy at all. And this size stand really had no problem holding it up just right. He's looking super cute. Now, I was looking at him and I was like, you know, the paint on the face is a little much for me. I do want to distress it. So I am going to go in with a little ivory, a little dry brushing, and just give a light distress on the nose and the rosy cheeks for the final touch of my little Santa Claus DIY. And let me show you how he looks. He's so cute. I love him. I think he's really charming. I love like the little rosy cheeks, the little pink nose. So cute. And I really like kind of the lace details in his beard too. So thank you to whoever runs that blog for the inspiration. I really enjoyed putting him together for you guys. And I want to do like a lot of Santa Claus, reindeer, Christmas present DIYs today. Okay, for the next DIY, we're going to use one of these little plain wood frame signs from the Dollar Tree. And I designed the cutest printable for you guys. Look at this image of Santa Claus and a reindeer. I absolutely love it. And I will share that printable with you in the description below. It really made me smile because the Santa Claus looks just like one of my grandfathers that passed away when I was a child. And so it really made me smile. And I'm definitely going to have to keep this as part of a Christmas tradition. Now, I printed mine out 8.5 by 8.5, which is how big the opening of this Dollar Tree sign is. But my printer doesn't do like borderless, and so I do have a small gap. I think mine prints out like at 97%, but I did design it to be 8.5 by 8.5 inches wide. But you can always resize it for whatever your needs are. And I just put down a thin layer of Mod Podge and laid that down. I printed it out on cardstock, so I don't have to worry about wrinkling or anything like that, or dry time. I can just go over it with my next coat of Mod Podge to seal it on top. And this part's really important because it's going to give it like a really great texture, like a painting, and just a really great surface on there. Now, I don't really like the unfinished part of the frame. It's like an MDF around the edges. So I thought we could dress it up with some of this greenery from the Dollar Tree. These are the little wired garland ties. And I am just going to cut them down to size. I'm going to cut one piece for each part of the frame. I kind of go edge to edge on top to bottom and then kind of fill in the gap for the sides. And I thought that would be really cute attached to it. It's definitely going to give you that vintage Christmas feel. But I really like my Christmas trees to be kind of flocked. Now, for my first one, I used way too much paint, but what I'm doing is I'm just using some white acrylic and a little chunky brush from Dollar Tree and flocking these. Since I put too much on there, I kind of wiped off the excess with a baby wipe, but less is more. You kind of want to dry brush it like this for the other ones to give it that flocked look of Christmas trees. And I think this really gave it a nice vibe. Once I got those all painted, now we can attach it. I thought the easiest way would be just to use my staple gun, but you could probably get away with using hot glue. You just have to be careful because that Dollar Tree greenery, it does melt a little bit. Now I decided to kind of make mine one continuous way all the way around. So it'll kind of look like a continuous piece of garland going around. So I did kind of make sure they were all going that same direction. And that frame is plenty thick enough to use a staple gun on and just kind of tack those down. And then you can always fluff out your greenery to cover up your staples. And how easy is that? Again, I will include this free printable. I absolutely love it. It's so vintage. It's so cute. There's even like a little bird, like I'm sitting in the reindeer's antlers. Isn't that so cute? And the Santa Claus looks just like my Grandpa Morgan. Isn't this so fun? Now, this is a hanging sign, but you know what? I think I might just actually lean it up in my decor in a cabinet or something like that. You could use it either way, and the hanger can always just, hide behind it. Isn't that so cute? Hey guys, if you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. It always helps my videos do better here on YouTube. Up next, we're going to do a Christmas tree gnome. So the first one we're going to do is a gnome pot. I thought this sounded like a really fun idea. So I got a little metal pot from the Dollar Tree, a tall one. And I got a gnome stocking from the Dollar Tree and a little Dollar Tree tinsel tree and some Dollar Tree garland. We're going to put all of these together and make a really cute gnome flower pot. So the first thing I want to do is just take the little nose and the beard off of the little gnome stocking. They have these every year at Dollar Tree. I love buying these to use for gnomes. I use them year round for gnomes. They work great because you can just peel it off like that. Now, I do want to caution you to avoid using heat when you peel them off the stockings because the beard and the stocking will melt if you use your heat gun. So I'm just going to hot glue it. Mine has the twine up here at the top. It doesn't really get in my way. It kind of gives me something to glue to. So I went ahead and glued it down a little bit because this pot is nice and tall. So this entire beard is going to fit. I also kind of tacked down the sides with a little bit of hot glue too. But I left a little bit of space above the beard. Now, this is going to be the gnome hat. It's also going to be a Christmas tree. And so it doesn't matter which one you get. I just picked up a tinsel tree from Dollar Tree. I love just taking these apart and making them my own. So you get this great cage underneath. And so I'm going to clean up all that tinsel mess. My best tip is to get one of those lint rollers from the Dollar Tree to clean those up because my gosh, they're so messy. And it was almost a perfect fit, but there were like little tabs sticking out on the side of my plastic cage. So I just went in with some heavy duty scissors and kind of trimmed those down. And it's going to fit in there. It's going to be snug, but I think it's going to fit in there perfectly for my gnome hat. Now to make it not so tippy, I'm just going to put some Dollar Tree stones in the bottom just to weigh it down. And then we can put it in there. It's not going to stay by itself because it's like such a perfect fit. So I'm going to go in with some hot glue all the way around and just kind of glue it in place and let that hot glue set up. Now, if you had a real Christmas tree or any other kind of Christmas tree that has like the cone shape of this, it would work great for a gnome hat as well. So I just glue that in kind of flush with the top of my flower pot. And we're going to use that Dollar Tree garland to build a Christmas tree. So this is just from the Dollar Tree. I have one package. One package was almost enough. I did use part of another package that I had left over. And I just start at the top. It is a wired garland, so super easy. I just kind of pinched it to the very tip of the Christmas tree like this. And let me lay it down so you can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit better. It's hard to see from the top when I have things standing up. And I just simply wind it around. I'm trying to keep it as tight as I can. I don't want you to see any of the plastic cage, but all the little bumps and grooves on the little cage is great for keeping this in place. And I just want to build a little Christmas tree. So it's going to look like there's a little Christmas tree growing out of a pot, and the pot is a gnome. So it's going to look like a gnome plant. Really fun idea. Once I got the tree completely covered, I'm also going to go over the rope part here to do like the brim of the hat for the gnome. So I attach it with a little hot glue to kind of keep it in place here and there. And I kind of wanted to go around twice, and I really only had enough to go around once. And so I do go back and add another one later, but right now I kind of wanted my ends to be in the back. So I just went ahead and hot glued that down and cut off the little piece that was left over. And that part of the gnome is done. All you can kind of fluff it out a little bit, kind of make it look a little bit better. But it definitely gives you like that Christmas tree shape, and it's really easy. Now, since we're doing a Christmas tree and I'm doing traditional theme on this one, I thought Christmas lights would be perfect. So these are the little LED mini lights from Dollar Tree. I just picked up the white light. You could do whatever color you wanted. Couple of AA batteries in there, and this one's going to be ready to go. I was really hoping that this one package would be enough for the tree, and the tree is pretty small, so one package was plenty. So I'm just going to go ahead and string these lights. I'm going to start at the very top. I'm going to turn mine on when I string them, so I kind of know, what I'm going to get at the end. And I kind of string it in from the middle there, and then we can wrap it around. So let me try that again. String it in from the middle, and then I'm just going to simply wrap them around. I want to try to keep like the light box in the back, and we're going to kind of hide it inside the little Christmas tree where it's still accessible. So I just kind of tuck it in a gap between the cage and the garland, but I don't want it to fall in and then not be accessible to be able to turn on and off or to change the batteries. So I just used a little tiny Dollar Tree zip tie and zip tied that to the cage itself, so the little battery pack won't go anywhere, but it did a great job of hiding all tucked away inside of our Christmas tree. And I'm so glad I decided to add lights to this one. I think it made it turn out so cute. Now I wanted to decorate it like a Christmas tree, but again, I really wanted that second row of greenery to go around, and I did have a scrap piece of this, so I just wrap around one more row and kind of wire it to itself and can kind of tuck in the ends back here in the back. And I like that better. It kind of finished it up more. And then we can decorate the tree. These are the little mini Christmas ornaments from the Dollar Tree. I picked up the shiny red. Thought they were very classic Christmas. I also picked up some Christmas ornament hangers at Dollar Tree, and we're just going to simply hang them on. The little mini ornaments do come with like gold ribbon in there, but I thought it would be easier just to use like real little ornament hangers. And it made me smile trying to find my ornament hangers, because I knew I bought some and then I couldn't find them. And it reminded me of my mother. When I was little, she would always buy Christmas ornament hangers, and then she would never be able to find them when we went to decorate the tree. And it was always so funny. Such a thing she always did, and it really brought a smile to my face and gave me a nice Christmas memory of when she was with us. So I'm just going to go ahead and decorate the entire Christmas tree all over, just scattering out my little red ornaments. They hang on there really well. You can just hang them on your garland or on the cage, wherever you can kind of fit them in. And I want to decorate the front, the sides, and the back, just to kind of make it look like a little Christmas tree. I'm not going to do a tree topper because I want to keep that gnome shape. I don't want to take away from that. And this is how it turned out. Our little Christmas tree gnome in a pot. So totally looks like a Christmas tree. And then you get down here to the pot and you have an adorable little gnome. And again, those stockings work great for that. I love using those for gnome DIYs. And we will have another Christmas tree gnome later on in this video, a different version of that one that can hang on the wall. I was inspired so much by the little Santa Claus, I wanted to see what I could do with one of these Dollar Tree reindeer. Now, most people just paint these, but I thought that might be boring, so I wanted to see how many textures I could bring into this and how we could decorate this. Now, I've had this problem with these before. They do not want to unglue. I don't know if it's this material it's made out of. It's not wood. It's like MDF. And my first antler broke, which I was a little concerned about because this was the only reindeer sign I had, but I really wanted to do this project still, so we're going to make it work. I can just attach it to the top, so I decided to break off the other one the same way and not really worry about this. I cleaned it up a little bit, but that can just be the back of my reindeer, and I can just flip it over and kind of have a blank canvas on the other side. Now, what I was thinking, it would be really cute to have a reindeer that was like covered in burlap for the brown part, for its head. And then do like a different kind of texture for the little antlers. I did have to trim them up a little bit, but I can just attach them to the top of the head like that, and it'll be as good as new. I'm still going to make it a hanging sign. Now, this is the burlap we're going to use. This is the Dollar Tree burlap. It comes in a roll, and I just want to get a piece that I can cover the entire reindeer with. So I'm going to cut out a square of this that's going to cover the ears, the head, everything. And I'm going to show you a little trick for cutting burlap so that it doesn't ravel out. So a lot of you guys have told me that you had a lot of luck with this, and I've tried it a couple times, and it definitely works really well. I'm going to kind of just lay my reindeer on top of the burlap. And I'm going to use a Sharpie just because I didn't know if a pen would really show up on the burlap. And I'm carefully kind of sketching it out, trying not to get like ink on the side of my reindeer sign. And then we can cut that out. Now, it's kind of hard to work with because, you know, this Dollar Tree burlap is rolled. And so I was like, how am I going to do this if it keeps rolling up on me? And I'm like, you know what? I have my Cricut Easy Press right here. Let me just give it a quick press real quick, and it's just going to make my life easier. So let me iron this real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edges where we did the Sharpie outline in the reindeer head. And we were just going to paint those areas with Mod Podge. And then give that a quick dry with my heat gun. And then I can cut around there, cut out any kind of shape, and the burlap is not going to fray. And as you can tell by the edges of this, that's not normally the case. It likes to fray a lot. But I don't want it to look real sloppy. I want it to look real clean along the edges. You don't want to use too much, just enough to kind of cover the area where you're going to cut. And so I just used a small paintbrush and just kind of painted that on. And then I went in and gave it a quick dry with my heat gun. And then we can cut it out, and you can see how great this cuts. I'm trying to cut like the whole Sharpie part off. I don't really want any of that black on my burlap, and this worked really well. Another thing that I use a lot and we'll be using later on is those little burlap bags from the Dollar Tree. Those don't fray, that like synthetic burlap. Those are great for covering items like this too, but I wanted to use real burlap on this one. I needed something that was just as cool as that little Santa, so I'm going to give it a go and try to come up with a reindeer design. I'm just going to leave the MDF brown. I think that's fine. If you wanted the white to show through or something like that, you could paint it white first. And then I'm going to put down a pretty good coat of Mod Podge all over. The fabric is kind of thick, and I don't really want to Mod Podge over the top of the burlap. So you want to do enough that's going to adhere it, and just lay your little cutout right on top of your little reindeer head. Just smoothing that out. It's looking cute. Now, I told you I wanted to cover the antlers with something else. And so I thought I wanted something else brown and something else that would look reindeer-like. And so instead of burlap on these, we're going to switch it up to the Dollar Tree faux leather. And I do have some of the brown. Looks like I've used it before on another project. And I'm just going to roll it over, and I can use an ink pen now and just kind of trace out exactly how big my little antlers are so that I can cut these down to size. Now, this faux leather from the Dollar Tree is real easy to work with. It is a breeze to cut. You can cut any kind of custom shapes like that, and it seems to hold up pretty well. The only problems I've had crafting with this stuff is it does not like to glue to itself, and it does not like to glue to glass. Two things I found out. And so I'm just going to carefully go around that ink line and cut this down to size, trying to get it the perfect size to fit on my antlers with no like sharp edges. So kind of take your time on that part. And even though it's a lot darker than the burlap, I think it's going to be a nice complementary brown color. It's going to look really cute on this reindeer DIY. And we've got some plans to decorate these little antlers as well for Christmas. And I absolutely love how this DIY turned out. And we've almost got this one trimmed down. And now we can attach. Now, you could use a stronger glue than Mod Podge. I'm just going to use Mod Podge and kind of give it a chance to dry. You could also use like Dollar Tree tacky glue if you like. I think I'd probably avoid hot glue though, because I think that faux leather might possibly melt. So I just do a nice thick coat of Mod Podge all over mine, and it seemed to work, but it did take a few minutes to dry. So we're going to do that on both of those. Now, the hanger for the little reindeer was on the antlers. So once I get these on there and get them dry, I can go in and kind of poke that back through. I'm just using a little Cricut weeder just to poke a hole through the front. It doesn't have to be pretty or anything. I'm going to have twine come through there. I'll have a knot tied in the front. It'll kind of hide it anyway. But I want to make sure that that is all glued down. And look how cute the brown leather looks with the burlap. Now, I do need something to kind of reinforce it to make it strong since they don't overlap like they did before. And so I'm going to do that with popsicle stick. So let's flip it over and kind of line it up where I want it. I kind of like it better flat like this than it was before anyway. And then I can do like a little half of a popsicle stick on each one. And the sign is thick. It's not necessarily thick enough for my stapler, so I am just going to use hot glue to hot glue that popsicle stick onto the back, and you won't be able to see it. It'll hide back there, and it seemed to be plenty strong to hold up the little reindeer antlers. He's looking so cute. Definitely needs a nose, though. And I'm going to use like just a little Dollar Tree wood puzzle piece as a reference, just because I needed a circle. And again, we're going to be using that chair cover that we got from the Dollar Tree. So he'll have a little matching red Rudolph nose to go with that Santa Claus that we made. And I just use that as a template to draw a little circle on there with an ink pen, and I can cut this perfect little circle down to size. Circles are hard. I do not try them unless I have a roadmap. And then I'm going to use Mod Podge to glue that down. It's just a, kind of a nice felt that material is made out of. It crafted really well. I'm going to kind of spread out the Mod Podge with my baby wipe to make sure that kind of glues evenly and doesn't look hardened or anything like that, and help it out with my heat gun. Now, I was trying to think what I can make its eyes with, and I was thinking that the brown leather would be good because it'd be a nice complementary color to the antlers. Now, I'm just drawing on the back with a Sharpie. That first eye was way too big, so I'm going to make two a little smaller, and we're just going to make little closed eyes. Definitely the easiest way to make an eye for an animal like this. Two little C shapes. And I'm just going to cut those down to size with the brown leather. And I'm really glad that I decided to give it eyes because I think it gave it a lot of personality, and it was so easy to make with this faux leather. So just cutting those down, trying to make them uniform and look good. Isn't that so sweet so far? And kind of line those up where I think his little eyes would be. And I'm going to use tacky glue for this one. It's a little too small to try to get Mod Podge in, and tacky glue works great for projects like this. I also picked that up at the Dollar Tree. I get my Mod Podge at the Dollar Tree too because I love the little bottles because I don't have to worry about them drying up. And glue them right in place. Now I'm going to replace the hanger, so I'm just going to use some Dollar Tree twine for that. And I'm just going to feed that in through the back. And again, knot it in the front of the antlers. It's just a matter of getting it through there. If you have trouble kind of feeding it through, you might need to put a little hot glue on the end of your twine to kind of make it a little bit harder, but I was able to feed mine through pretty easily. And then I'm just going to knot it in front, and that twine goes great with the burlap that is on the little reindeer face. So we're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. And I told you we were going to be decorating the antlers because even though he's so cute, I think we can really make him even cuter. So I did have a little bit more trouble feeding this side in, so I just used a Cricut weeder to kind of help me feed it in there. And then I wanted to use a fun decoration, and I thought this little snowflake ornament that I got at Dollar Tree would be perfect. It's like a glittery brown snowflake with like ribbon, greenery, and stuff like that on there. And even though it's got a hole in it, we can kind of disguise that. I think this is going to work great and provide a lot of character to this little guy. So I'm just going to glue that little snowflake here right on top. Just a quick, easy way to decorate him. I thought about a bow, but I kind of like that better. And then I thought it'd be really cute to use these little decorative bells from the Dollar Tree. They're all strung together to make it look like the little reindeer has jingle bells wrapped all over his antlers. I've seen people do this with like Christmas lights and stuff, and it like that. It looks so cute. And I didn't have any Christmas lights like that, so I thought jingle bells would be perfect. And I love how this turned out. So these are like the silver and gold jingle bells, and I'm fine with that. And they're strung on silver line. I'm just going to kind of string them around the antler like that to look like it's completely wrapped around. And they do have a little bit of play where you can kind of move them around to kind of get the jingle bell right where you want. I do want one on the top of that snowflake to kind of cover that hole right there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that little jingle bell in place. And we're going to wrap these and glue these around both of the antlers. And I'm so glad I added these. These are so fun, and they even jingle. So I'm just going to kind of glue them in place right where I want them. I want them kind of random, some going up, some going down. I definitely want them all on the front of the antlers so that it doesn't make the reindeer kind of stick out from the wall. So then we're going to do the same thing here on the other side. We're just going to string these all around like they're all tangled around his antlers. It's not going to require the full strand, but I use most of it here. And then I'm going to just kind of cut this one down and glue those in place as well. I think he turned out so cute. You guys know my son always loved to see all of my DIYs, and he's not feeling too well. And so we were FaceTiming earlier, so I had to show him the DIYs, and this one was his favorite. You guys know he has good taste. So here is Chase's favorite little Rudolph. Now the bow kind of didn't really have anything really cute in the middle of it, so I'm also going to glue another one of the little jingle bells from that set right there to the center of the little buffalo check bow, but I think that is plenty, and it jingles. So if you hang this on a door, I think I might hang mine on the door to the garage, so it'll jingle every time you go in and out. I'm sure my husband will really appreciate it. But look how cute he is. I love him, and I'm so glad I decided to DIY him. And this is definitely one of your all's favorite Christmas DIYs. I absolutely love how he turned out. Okay, the next DIY, we're going to take 2 of the black metal candlesticks from Dollar Tree. I got them in different heights so we can make a set of pillar candles. And even though these are black and I just have white taper candles, we're going to make these festive. So the first thing we're going to have to do is paint them. Now, I want to make them bright red, but right now they're black. So I was thinking it was going to be hard to get them bright red if I didn't first prime them with white. So I'm just using white acrylic, and I am just going over the entire candlestick first just to prime it everywhere that you might be able to see, even inside the cups. And then we can go in with red and paint these. Now, whenever I'm painting metal, spray paint does work a little bit better. But depending on the weather here in Florida, spray paint doesn't always want to dry for me. So we're going to use acrylic today. So I've got both of the candlesticks primed. This is my bright red acrylic by Delta. And then I'm just going to go in with a foam brush, and we're just going to start painting these. So don't be afraid to paint these little candlesticks from the Dollar Tree. They're so cute, and they're really a nice size for $1.25. And look how bright red they look after the white coating first. I think that was definitely the trick to get that bright red color that I was going for on these DIYs. So we're just going to paint all over, and I've got a few more surprises with this DIY too to kind of go with our red and white Christmas theme. Now, I'm not going to paint the candles, but that is another thing that you can do, and I did that recently on a Halloween video. If you use the Posca paint pens, you can totally paint those taper candles. You can paint little designs on there if you like, and it was so much fun. So that's what they look so far now that I've got them painted red and they're dry. Now my surprise was to add little snowflakes. So we're going to use these little wood snowflake ornaments from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to do one of these for each one of the candlesticks to add to the long stand, and it really made them pop. Now they are ornaments. They do have a little hole in them. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill mine up with a little bit of spackle. And then we can go in and paint these. I'm going to be using a Snow Flurry white to make sure they're nice and bright. And then we're going to add those to the candlesticks. This was a really fun DIY to do. And we're going to need to have the front and the back of the snowflakes to be that bright white color because it is a candlestick, so you're going to be able to probably see it from both directions. I'm only adding one snowflake to each one, but you could always kind of sandwich them on two if you wanted, one on each side if you're going to have it like on a table or something like that where you want to be able to see it really well from both sides. So I just painted mine white on both sides, and then I thought if we added some of the glitter stickers from Dollar Tree, we could get a little sparkle in it as well by adding maybe like another little snowflake to the center of these. So I make sure I get them good and dry, and then I'm just kind of adding it here in the middle. Just another little touch of bling for Christmas. And I just love those white glitter little snowflakes. So this is what it looks like so far. And they're ready to attach to our candlesticks. So I'm just going to kind of center it right about here, and I'm just going to attach with hot glue. I hot glue the little snowflake to the candlestick just like that. I'm not measuring or anything, just kind of estimating about halfway on both of them, and we're going to hot glue the second one on. Now that part of the DIY is done. Now we can start focusing on the candle part. So I picked up 2 of the white like taper candles. They come in a 2-pack at Dollar Tree and just in plain white. I thought that would pop nicely against the red candlesticks. And again, I'm so glad I thought to paint these because black you wouldn't necessarily think of as a Christmas decoration, but these definitely are. Now, I wanted to kind of make these look extra special. I tried them first with nothing, but then I decided I wanted a little bit of bling. So I'm going to go back after that metal ribbon from the Dollar Tree and cut a piece just to go around the base. And you can kind of like push it into the wax a little bit, especially when you add a little bit of hot glue there. So I kind of measure to see exactly where I would need it. That way the candle will still fit, and then I'm going to secure that in there with a little hot glue to make sure the candle's not going to go anywhere. And it really gave the candle like a touch of class there at the bottom with that one. Now the tops of these candlesticks are totally different, but we're going to make this work. So again, I'm just not doing it all the way to the bottom. I'm leaving a little bit of space for the candle to fit down into the candle holder, and then securing it with a little hot glue to make sure that our pillar candles stand straight up. And I love this DIY. It was so fun to put together, and look how beautiful and elegant these little Christmas candlesticks are. These would be great just sitting around. I just used mine for decor, but these would be great on your kitchen table or dining room table for a Christmas celebration. I love the little touch of metal and the glitter as well. It's super fun. Very festive, and I'm loving the red and white combo. Hey guys, have you checked out my new website yet? It's craftybeach.net. I'm archiving my YouTube videos over there with the photos so you can pin them on Pinterest so you can remember to go back and DIY them. Okay, are you ready for another super easy Christmas DIY? I picked up 2 placemats from the Dollar Tree. I made sure to get 2 different ones that kind of coordinated, and that way I can have a reversible pillow. Now, I don't really use fabric placemats. I usually use a tablecloth if I'm going to use something. But I love making pillows out of these. They already have the seam. You know, they're reinforced with back fabric, which is going to make them thicker. But if you could only find one and you kind of really like it, they are like double layers like this. So you could always cut the seam off one end like that. Stuff the pillow and reseal it with hot glue, and you would only need one. But I found 2, and I can't decide which side I like better. I like them both. Happy holidays, very traditional Christmas. We're going to start here on the top of the placemat on the back of the back one and just do a bead of hot glue and then just match up my top one. And so we're doing back to back, just hot gluing that together, trying to keep my seam as tight as I can there so you don't really see the back. They are the exact same size. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on the right side. We're going to do 3 total sides, gluing that down. to give us like a little pillowcase to DIY a holiday pillow. Now I'm also going to do like maybe half of this one, just leaving an open pocket there for this to stuff. Now Dollar Tree does have polyfill now. You don't get very much though, but I always have kind of a tradition that I always save old bed pillows so that I don't have to buy polyfill because I'm cheap. But you can get it at Dollar Tree now, so I was happy to see that. So I'm just unloading an old pillow and we're going to stuff this pillow. DIYing your own holiday pillow like this is so easy, and hot glue seems to hold up just fine. It's not like you're going to be washing this all the time anyway. I wonder how well they would hold up in the washer, but I usually do these like on my little hall tray in my entryway. Sometimes I even put them outside, like on my bench and my entryway out there, just a cute little place where you want a holiday pillow. But you could always put them on your couch. This fabric is nice and soft and it would be comfortable, just a small pillow. And I kind of rearrange it, keep adding stuffing until I want it to be super full so that it is all filled out. So I'm just kind of checking it out, seeing if I have enough fluff in there, kind of wiggling it. This is the best time to arrange your fluff before you seal it. And then I'm going to hot glue it shut. So you kind of have to work fast with this. Put your hot glue down, try to get it lined up, try to keep the fluff out. And the little finger protectors from the Dollar Tree always work great so you don't scald yourself with hot glue. And that's all there is to it. I told you, quick and easy. We have a happy holidays, beautiful wreath on one side, and then we have like that holly print on the other side. So easy to do, and I think this is really cute for Christmas. Holiday pillows is one thing I usually don't save from year to year just because I don't have the storage space for them. So when I'm done with it, I usually donate mine. But this is how it turned out. This is the happy holiday side, which I can't decide which side I like better. I thought I would use that side, but you know what? Look how beautiful the holly side is of the pillow. Maybe I'll switch it up and it'll look like I have a different pillow there from time to time. So happy holidays and the reverse side. So we have a reversible Christmas pillow DIY. Okay, next DIY. Have you guys seen these new signs from the Dollar Tree? I love them. They have like a burlap background. I'm just going to pop off the little clip I don't need. It was just glued on. It's got a brown border with like little like brass rivets around there. It's already got a built-in stand and everything. And I thought this would be great to DIY with. We're going to use some of the macrame cord from the Dollar Tree. And I thought we could make a really cute little snowman on this side. The burlap background, the frame, the stand, all of that's already done. So I can just kind of decorate it however I want. And since it's a tall sign, I think a snowman's going to be perfect. I love this macrame cord. I love crafting with it. I stock up on this. I probably need to stock up on it more because I've used so much of it. What I want to do is just like spiral my little macrame cord, and we're going to do 3 circles to make our snowman. So I'm going to start here in the bottom. I'm going to just start right in the center of where I want my circle to be. And then I'm going to do a little circle of hot glue and squeeze those around, go around and kind of repeat the process. My hot glue gun kind of shoots out a lot of hot glue, so I could kind of do a multiple rows on one shot of glue there. But I'm trying really hard not to get any glue on the top of the macrame cord because I find that it doesn't dry too nice, so I'm trying to avoid that if possible. And I'm just going to kind of have the end of it be here at the bottom because there definitely has to be an end to it, and I think that'll be fine. So I'm going to make sure I clean up any excess hot glue again. I don't want to get any on top because it kind of yellows, I've noticed, when it dries if you get any hot glue on top. Now for the second circle, I'm going to start in the middle again, and then I will stop when I get to the little circle for the snowman bottom. So again, I start in the middle. I do like a circle of hot glue, and all I am doing is just going around in circles with that, gluing that down. I thought it would be easier just to do it while it's attached to the sign rather than making these separate like little tiny coasters. Just make sure you don't burn yourself. This one I'm going to have like the seam kind of go up towards the top. I'm using my little hot glue finger protector there from Dollar Tree. It works great for stuff like this. And then I want the top circle of my snowman to be even smaller, so I didn't give myself quite as much room for this one. And we're going to make a little snowman head. I wanted to make sure that I left myself plenty of room to make a little snowman hat. We're going to make a very traditional like little snowman with this. And I have the seam there at the top on that one as well. I can kind of hide that a little bit probably with the hat, which we're going to make out of one of these little black leather bags from the Dollar Tree. I love crafting with these. So if you can't find like the faux leather at Dollar Tree, be sure to check out like the bags. Now I'm actually not using the leather because this has a brown leather frame. I thought that might kind of be distracting. So I'm actually using the black felt on the inside. I really like crafting with that too. And as you can see, I'm just cutting down a very simple little snowman hat. Just kind of seeing what scale would fit my little snowman. And we're going to use it like felt side up, a little traditional black snowman hat. And we'll kind of like probably tilt it off to this side like that. Super cute. And I also want to kind of cover up that area up there where the little clip was glued on. Now for buttons, I'm using Dollar Tree buttons and just trying to find 2 of my tiniest black ones. He's not a very big snowman, so I want to get some of the smallest ones I can. I found 2 that I think will work. And then for the eyes, I need it to be even smaller. So I'm going to be using these little stickers from the Dollar Tree. I know they're hot pink, but you know what? You can always paint these, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to take 2 of those little stickers and paint them with some acrylic. I just go over mine with a couple coats of black acrylic, and we'll have 2 tiny little eyes because the snowman head is not big enough to have like little button eyes or anything like that. And I definitely wanted something besides paint for the eyes. Now, for the snowman nose, I was lucky enough to find some orange modeling clay at Dollar Tree, so I thought that would be perfect, but you can use whatever you have. If you have any of the model magic too, you can do that really easily. Making a carrot shape for the nose is so easy. It's just like a little V shape, if you will, like a carrot. I kind of made mine a little too big, so I'm just making mine a little bit smaller. And you can even make lines in the carrot with like your fingernails or something like that to kind of make it look realistic. I'm just kind of molding mine until it's perfect. And if you do have like the white model magic from Dollar Tree, you can't find the clay, you could totally use that too and just paint it orange. Now for the scarf for our little snowman, we are again using that little chair cover from Dollar Tree. And I just cut out a little strip. I just want to make a little tiny red scarf. And so I just cut out a little strip here and kind of straighten out the edges. Now it's time to decorate our snowman. So a little dot of hot glue for each one of my buttons. We're only going to do buttons on this middle part of the snowman body. And then we can also do his hat, his eyes, and his carrot nose, even his cute little scarf. So I did kind of want to cover that area up there at the top where there was a little clip, but I also kind of want my snowman hat to be at an angle a little bit. I think that's going to give him a little bit of character. So I think that looks pretty good. And this is pretty durable, so I'm just going to hot glue that on with no problem. Right where I want it. Now for the little face, we can just go ahead and attach that with hot glue too. We painted the little eyes black. Now, these are actually like little stickers, but I'm really not gonna trust the adhesive on them, especially since I kind of needed to clean it up a little bit to kind of get the extra paint off the edges. So I just attach mine with a little dot of hot glue on both. And we're not gonna do like a little smile or anything like that. I think the snowman's a little too tiny. I think he's just gonna have room for little eyes and of course that little carrot nose that we made out of clay. So I'm going to hot glue it right there where it kind of points off to the side. Super cute and classic snowman looking. And now we can just go ahead and attach the scarf. I was trying to figure out how I was going to do it. I decided to cut mine like 2/3 and just go ahead and do that part. I kind of wanted to make it look like it's kind of blowing in the wind. And then I can cut down the tail part for the other part and kind of glue that coming straight down to the side. Now, right here, I thought I hit record, but I guess I just turned my camera on. But what you missed was I used some of the wire jute from Dollar Tree. I cut down 2 little arms for a snowman, hot gluing the ends so that it would not fray from the wire. And then I used twine for like the little hand, doing a little piece on the top and a little piece on the bottom of each one of my little wired jute. And it makes perfect little snowman arms to kind of fill out my snowman. Just trying to clean up any excess hot glue on there. I was trying to decide if I was going to save this bow. It's kind of cute, but I kind of would like to do something a little bit more Christmassy down here. So I just removed that with a little heat. And then I thought jingle bells would look really cute down there. They would coordinate nicely with like the rivets on the sides. And since there isn't any of those on the bottom, we could just use jingle bells instead. So these are kind of tied onto the string. I just want like the individual jingle bells. And so I'm going to do like the brass colored ones. So they'll kind of match the brass rivets on the sign. And I'm going to do 3 of them to go along the bottom of the little snowman sign. And I'm just going to attach them with hot glue. I'm going to have this one kind of pointing down. I'm going to have the other 2 kind of pointing up just to kind of make it random. And that part of the snowman sign is complete. I love that burlap sign. I'm glad I picked up a bunch of those. I first saw them a couple months ago down in Boca Raton, but now we have them at our stores here too. Now to decorate the base, I thought some of these little holly berries, they're kind of frosted. Greenery from the Dollar Tree would be cute. I'm going to do like just a couple of those little leaves, just cutting those apart individually. And some of the little frosted berries. I love that they look like they're covered in snow. And I'm just going to kind of hot glue those, kind of one going off to the side, kind of one coming out in the front. Just add a little Christmas flair. I'm also going to add the berries. I just have to cut off the stem on those to make them easy to attach. And I just kind of hot glue those right in between. And there it is, our little macrame snowman. I think he turned out so cute and was a great use for one of these new little frames from Dollar Tree. I think that is a great deal for $1.25 because the frame is done, the sign, the stand is done, the burlap is done, and everything. And you can just add whatever you want to it. And how sweet is that little macrame snowman? Complete with some jingle bells and some Christmas greenery at the bottom. I love him. He's so sweet. Okay, on to the 5-minute DIYs. We're going to make some giant Christmas ornaments for my window, and these turned out so cute. So I found this great gift bag. I thought it would be a perfect Christmas ornament. So I picked up some Christmas ornament signs, and we're going to DIY them. This one has like the little metal piece I just take off with a little bit of heat, and then we can just cover up the gnome part. It doesn't matter what's on this part of the ornament. Then I'm going to take my beautiful gift bag that I got at Dollar Tree. It's got this great diamond print. It's red, it's very metallic, and it's going to be so cute as a giant Christmas ornament. So I just cut the first piece down, and then I thought we could just attach that to the ornament, covering up what was on there. And I noticed that Dollar Tree did come out with some blanks this year. And, you know, they liked this video last year when I did it, Dollar Tree did, and then they came out with something similar this year, and I was like, I see you, Dollar Tree, I see you watching. But I do a Mod Podge all over the front of my little ornament, and then I just lay the gift bag right on top. Look at that beautiful pattern. I love it. I wanted it to be like kind of diamond shaped, and then just gluing that on all around. Now, you can cut it down first if you want to. I thought I would just glue it first and then use a sanding block to give myself a perfect cut. Now, I don't know if it's because my sanding block was dull or the paper on the gift bag was extra thick, but it was a little bit harder than it usually is to do that. So, might have to switch it up on my next project. But with a little bit elbow grease, I was able to get that sanded down to the perfect circle for our Christmas ornament. And then I saved a little metal part for the top of the ornament. And I told you these were going to be 5-minute DIYs. So these are going to be nice, quick, and easy. So I just hot glue that right to the top. And then I just need to make like an ornament hanger. We're going to be hanging these in my large window in my dining area of my home for Christmas. I thought these would be the perfect window decorations. So I found some white glitter ribbon at the Dollar Tree. I thought that would be super cute to decorate this with. It's nice and sparkly. So the first thing I do is just tie a little bow here just to make a quick little decoration for the top of my Christmas ornament, just to give it a little bit more decor, and we can just kind of have that come down in front, just making sure my tails are about the right length, and just a little cute little adornment right here. And now we can string it up. I'm going to use that same ribbon and just tie that onto the little hanger here, just making a simple knot to make sure it's strong. And then we can use that ribbon to tie that to my curtain rod, and we can have this dangle down in front of my window. So I just make sure I cut off enough, and I'm going to go hang this on my window, and I will show you how it looks. This is going to be the first one, and we're going to do a whole window of these giant ornaments with all different kinds of ideas, so you can kind of mix and matchers and get a variety of Christmas ornament signs as well. But this is the red metallic one made with a gift bag. So 2 items from the Dollar Tree there, plus a little ribbon, and I hung that on my curtain rod. Now we're going to do kind of the same thing on this one. It's another one of the Christmas ornament signs from Dollar Tree. Again, doesn't matter which one. And then I found another beautiful gift bag from Dollar Tree. This one's going to be in a silver. So again, the little metal part on the top of the ornament, super easy to pop off. We're just going to add a little heat here and pop that off. And then we can add the gift bag to the front. Now, we're not just doing gift bags for these. We're going to be doing all different shapes and textures with these, with lots of different items from the Dollar Tree. Again, I just want to cover up the image that was on there, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the front of these bags. They're nice and large, so they are plenty big enough to do this DIY, until I have a sheet of this beautiful paper. That's when I learned my lesson, and I said, you know what? It would probably be easier to go ahead and cut this first. So I'm just going to lay that on the back of the gift bag, and just using an ink pen, we're just going to sketch this out. That way we don't have to do all that sanding through that thick metallic like cardboard type paper. That way we can just cut it out in advance, and one step saved. So I just cut out just a complete circle because, again, that top part's going to have the little ornament hanger. And this time I just decided to hot glue mine on because it's nice and thick. I think that's going to glue on there without any problem. You could always use Mod Podge for that as well if you wanted. And then we're going to hot glue our little ornament topper here to the top. So this one is still metallic. It's got that bright silver. This time it's a square pattern instead of a diamond. I'm using that same white glitter ribbon just to make a simple bow for the top of this one as well. Hot gluing that to the base of our little ornament holder. And then again, using that same ribbon to tie our ornament to my curtain rod. I'm going to have these all different lengths and all hanging together in a large group in that giant window. And they all are like very metallic, classic Christmas colors. They remind me of vintage Christmas ornaments. And this is the beautiful silver. See how shiny those gift bags are? I thought these provided the best texture for the ornaments. And this is how it looks hanging next to the red one that we already DIY'd. Now, this is also the gift bag. I picked up another one of the ornaments. It's a Gnome one, doesn't matter. But this is a diamond print too, but this time it's that royal blue metallic, and I thought that would be really pretty too because that is a classic Christmas color too. We're doing like the multicolor vibe on this. So we just pop off our little ornament holder, and we're going to do the same thing we did before, just cutting off the front of the gift bag and cutting this down to size. And we're just going to put this little Christmas ornament sign together too. And again, all 10 of these DIYs we're doing right now took me less than 5 minutes to do. So they're quick and easy if you need some Christmas decorations, but you're kind of short on time. Hot glue seemed to work well, so we're going to do that again. Gluing our little piece on here and gluing our ornament holder, and we've got it down to a science now. I think this is the last one that I did with gift bags. We're going to try a few different textures for the other ornaments. But again, I kept with the same white glitter ribbon to make a bow and a hanger for this ornament as well. So let's take this to the window and hang this with the others that we just made. Look how beautiful that blue color looks. Absolutely love it. And I hung this one kind of on the other side. Again, I want them all different elevations, so I'm hanging them all at different lengths, and I'm just hanging them directly to my curtain rod that I have at the top of this window. So that's what it looks like so far. I kind of stair-stepped them down. The other ones are going to be a little bit more random. Now, this is a plain wood ornament sign from Dollar Tree, a little bit different shape. I thought that'd be fun to mix it up. It's kind of got this like teardrop shape, I guess. And then I thought we could use some of the self-adhesive wall tile from the hardware section at Dollar Tree for another great texture. This has that beautiful like stamped 10 pattern on it. And I thought this could be really pretty as well. So I'm gonna just kind of measure it on the back like I did before. I just used a Sharpie to kind of sketch out my ornament right here on the back. Now this is a self-adhesive tile. It can be a little tricky though, because when you cut it in a shape that's not like, you know, the square, you're gonna lose the attachment of this sticky part to the tile. So kind of keep that in mind. And I'm just cutting mine down to that classic ornament shape. And I thought it'd be fun just to make some of the ornaments like different styles. So this is definitely going to be a different one. But I want to make it that bright classic colors as well. This is what I'm talking about. See, no longer really attached. So might as well just take the whole thing off and just leave the metal tile. I was trying to decide if I should glue it back on, but it's really not necessary. And this is going to fit perfectly on our little ornament. So again, I'm just going to use hot glue all around the edges, a little bit here in the middle, and glue that on. But be careful, that plastic does kind of melt a little bit. You might not want to use hot glue. Just be careful. You can kind of see the ridges that it caused in there. I was hoping it would be a little bit more durable than that, but that's okay. I think we can make it work. I just poke a hole back in the little ornament where the sign had a little hanger. And we are going to paint this one metallic gold. Since we had all the other colors, we've had metallic silver. So this is just a metallic gold acrylic that I picked up at Dollar General. And we're just going to paint this all over to make this look like a classic gold textured ornament. And it just turned out so beautiful. I was using a foam sponge, so just trying to get down in between all the different layers of this. And one thing when you're doing a metallic color, you might want to go over it with a couple of coats to get that beautiful color of gold that you see there. Now my hanger is smaller, so I had to switch it up. So this time we're going to use some Dollar Tree yarn instead of the ribbon, because there was no way I was going to be able to get that through there to hang it. But to kind of keep the same theme, I do still make the bow out of that white glitter ribbon that we did on all the other ornaments. This one's just going to be hanging with yarn instead of the ribbon. Isn't that so beautiful? Here is our gold metallic Christmas ornament. Another 5 minute or less Dollar Tree DIY. I love that texture. I love crafting all seasons with those little tiles. They're so much fun. And that looks really good next to my little silver ornament. We're going to hang that one right over here to the left. And I really only have room for one more. So again, I found another one of the little teardrops. And again, we're going to be using another one of those self-adhesive tiles. But this time we're going to change it up. Different kind of color, different kind of vibe on this one to finish off that classic Christmas color scheme that we're decorating the window with. And I'm so glad that I DIY'd these. I think they turned out so pretty and they were so fun to do. So again, I just cut it out, just keeping the top part, hot gluing that to our little ornament sign. All of those steps are the same. Poking a hole in there, but this time we're going to do green. We haven't done any green, and so I don't have a green metallic, but I do have this beautiful shade of green. So I just go over the entire ornament with a brush, and then to try to make it glossy, since you can tell it's totally not glossy, I'm just using gloss Mod Podge all over it to try to give it a little bit of shine, and I think that helped. Again, I'm going to use some of the white yarn from Dollar Tree to make a simple little hanger and finish it off with a white glitter bow. And this is going to be the final ornament for my window. I love how they all look together. They're so pretty. And each piece is a little bit unique. So here is our little green ornament sign. And then I can show you how it all looks together. I think it turned out so beautiful. And it was really easy to put together. For mine, I had a rather big window, so I used 5 to fill up my window. But again, if you had a smaller window, 3 would totally be enough. But I love how they look. They kind of move a little bit, you know, depending on what's going on in the house. And I think they look just like giant Christmas ornaments. What do you guys think? I really love how those turned out. And who doesn't love a quick 5-minute Dollar Tree Christmas DIY? Okay, the next DIY, I found this Believe sign at Dollar Tree just in their home decor. It wasn't even Christmas, but I thought it would be perfect for Christmas. It's wood with white Believe on there, and I wanted to paint it red, but I was afraid that if I painted the letters red, I would get it all over the wood back, so I'm just going to leave it. And then I got a Christmas ornament at Dollar Spot for only $1, and I just picked up a little wood Santa hat. I thought that would be so cute on here. Any way you can add a Santa hat, I kind of wanted to make it a little Santa sign. And I thought we could make like one of the letters look like a Santa hat. The B's nice and big, so I think that's where we're going to put it. And so simple to do. All I'm going to do is hot glue that letter there, right where it's going to sit, and just glue the ornament to the top. Isn't that ornament so cute? And I think it's perfect with a little Believe sign, and you can't get much easier than that for a DIY, right? Again, I did want to paint the Believe red, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that neatly. So we're going to leave it white, and I think it looks really cute white too. And again, it was just from their home decor aisle. I found this little Believe sign, but I thought it was perfect for Christmas. And really, who doesn't want to believe in Santa Claus? We have big plans for Christmas this year. My husband and my son and I are actually taking a Caribbean cruise to some destinations we've never been before. So really looking forward to that. Hey guys, I would love to see your DIYs. Have you joined our private Facebook group? It's linked in the description of today's video. You can share what you've made and get to see what other people have been crafting as well. So be sure to join our Facebook group. Okay, next DIY. I actually have one of these little autumn envelopes. They seem to have these for every season if you have one laying around. And then I also designed a printable, which I will include for you. And I'm going to use another one of those Dollar Tree square signs. They're my favorite. And I thought we could do a really fun, like, letters to Santa theme with one of these little envelope signs. So if you've got one of these laying around, I think they come out on Valentine's Day. I don't know if they come out for Christmas. I want mine to be gold though. So I'm going to go outside and give it a quick spray. And now the little metal envelope is now gold. I thought that would be festive for Christmas. I do kind of want to mask where it says autumn and the little picture on there. So I just do that with a little white acrylic just to kind of give me a blank canvas. We're going to cover that with burlap, but I don't want any of that showing through. Now I'm just going to leave like the hanger on this sign. Again, this is 8.5 by 8.5, so perfect for a sheet of paper. And I designed a great printable, it's very shabby chic letters to Santa background. And I printed mine out 97% because that's as big as I can get it. So it's going to fill out most of the frame. And again, I print mine out on cardstock. It makes it so easy to DIY with. And how cute is this image? I'm going to just secure it to the sign. I go all over the Dollar Tree sign with a quick layer of Mod Podge. And then just lay that printable right on top. I designed this one with AI and it had like lots of typos on it. So I did have to go in there and do quite a bit of editing on it, but I think it turned out really pretty. And I just smooth that out with a paper towel to make sure that it's all laying flat. And then I can go right back in there with some more Mod Podge to seal it down. This is going to give us a great background for a little letters to Santa display. I think that looks really cute. Again, I want to do something about the frame because I don't really like the MDF plain exposed wood there. And I thought we could use some more of this white lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree. This is the same ribbon that we used on Santa's beard. And I thought that'd be really cute to kind of tie them together. And I think that looks very shabby chic. And so we're just going to frame it out with that. It's the perfect size. So I'm just going to cut this down to size, and we're just going to make a little lace ribbon frame. And I think it's really sweet. I think it definitely kind of goes with the vibe of the background that we designed there. And then my plan is to cover the inside of the envelope with some burlap, and we can kind of personalize that, make it really cute little letters to Santa, where it's actually an envelope where you can kind of put something in. Super sweet. I wanted to do very traditional Christmas with Santa and reindeers and stuff like that today. Snowmen. And so I'm just cutting a piece down to size. I'm not going to overlap those, so I cut my side pieces down a little bit shorter. Just kind of making sure the ruffle on mine is kind of pointing out on all four sides. Now, this is the burlap I was talking about earlier, the little burlap bags from the Dollar Tree. I love crafting with these. They are coated with plastic and they're synthetic burlap, so they cut without fraying. I've used this one for a previous DIY, so I kind of just have half of a bag left, and it's going to be perfect to give me a little piece of burlap to go inside my envelope. Now, it's kind of a tricky shape that I need to cut down to size, so I'm just going to kind of lay this on the back where I can kind of sketch that out with a Sharpie that's envelope size, so I can kind of make a little custom back to the envelope for the inside of the envelope, make that look like burlap. And I'm just going to cut that down to size. Now, it is going to have to actually like fit down inside the envelope. So I am going to have to kind of trim up the sides to make that happen. But I do need it to be that wide there at the top of the sides of the envelope. But I do need to kind of make a little notch on both sides. And I kind of trim that until it fits. And that looks pretty good. Now to decorate it, I wanted to say letters to Santa, and I thought it'd be really fun to try to do that with stamping. I picked up like these little alphabet stamp kit at Dollar General. Super cute, and I also got like a little ink pad there, and I thought we could just stamp letters to Santa on there. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be kind of random, and it actually turned out really cute. So let me take you through the process. I went ahead and found all my letters that I'm going to need. And letters is kind of a bigger word, so I kind of need to do it right here. And then I'll have to be fairly tight to get everything in where you'll be able to read it. I always like to kind of start in the center. I probably didn't push that one down quite hard enough just to kind of center my letters. And then I can just go and spell out the word letters. I kind of did a really bad job on that one. And I was wondering, since I was quick, if I took a baby wipe, if I could kind of wipe it off. And I can, but I did get a little bit of bleeding from that. I tried to redo it. We are going to cover that in glitter a little bit later, so it does kind of help hide that mistake. But again, it's not supposed to look perfect. I thought it would kind of give the look of like a typewriter print or something like that for a letter to Santa. So we have letters. So now our second row is just going to be short. It's just going to be 2. So I'm going to kind of center that around our center T letter there for letters. And then Santa, again, we're going to start in the middle with N. And these 2 words are skinny enough that I think you're going to be able to read them just fine inside the envelope. So I just spell that all out. And stamping is really fun. It's not something that I am practiced at all, as you can tell. But I think it's kind of fun and whimsical. So now it's just a matter of attaching that inside the envelope to give a new back. Very cute. I definitely think the burlap goes well with the Shabby Chic, and so does the stamping. And I'm going to use Mod Podge. I think that's going to be the best way to attach it. Even though that has a plastic coating on the back, it seems to Mod Podge well. You just have to kind of give it a little bit of time to dry. So I just put a layer of Mod Podge and kind of slide this down into my envelope right into place. So if you have one of those envelope signs, you can totally make it into a Santa DIY. Again, I don't know. I don't think I've seen these for Christmas. They may have had them. I'm not sure. And then I'm just going to I think I'm going to kind of center it here. I thought about making it at the bottom, but then I kind of decided I kind of wanted it centered. And I'm going to attach my little metal envelope with hot glue. I just kind of go all over, kind of centering that on my sign and gluing it on there. So fun. Now I thought it needed something there at the top to kind of cover up the hole in that hanger and a little decoration. And I thought these little glitter stickers from Dollar Tree would be perfect. They have a reindeer, so that's totally going to go with their little letters to Santa theme. And it's gold and sparkly and so pretty. And it kind of inspired me to glitter the burlap there. And that's what I did, but I forgot to hit record again. But this is what I did. I just sprayed it with some multi-purpose spray glue, and I used some gold glitter that I picked up at Walmart and went all over. I probably should have done that before I put it all together, but I was able to do it pretty good. And I love the shimmer to the burlap now. I think it looks so pretty. And it kind of hid that area where I kind of like messed up my stamping a little bit. But I love the gold shimmer. It definitely goes well with the gold metallic envelope. See how it shimmers? And it goes nicely with that little reindeer as well. Super cute and sweet little letters to Santa, DIY. The pictures don't show the glitter as well as the video did, so I'm glad that I showed you that too. But I think it's so cute, and I love that background. So cute, and I will be sure to include that printable. I'll include a link to my Google Drive. Now, the next DIY, I thought we could make a giant Christmas gnome like wreath for my door. So I picked up this little Santa hat from the Dollar Tree. That's another one of the tinsel ones, right? I just removed whatever decor is on there. I just wanted this great cage. I thought this would make a great gnome hat. There's many options for like hats shaped similarly to this from the Dollar Tree that you could probably get about the same effect. But basically, I just have to go in and cut off all the annoying tinsel again. And I want to do like the Christmas tree version of the Santa hat again, but this time I want to make it into a giant like Santa gnome wreath for my door. So we're going to use the garland from the Dollar Tree again. That's a great value for $1.25. And I didn't really like the look of the little pins sticking out. I thought they were going to get in the way. So I just went in and trimmed those off. And for this one, we're going to use the Dollar Tree mop head for the beard. This was another option that I was saying you could do for the other one. And I had wanted to try like some different methods. We have lots of different kinds of gnome beards in this video today. Now, the way these are put together, they're put in with plastic, but you can kind of pull them out. So once you get like some of it loose, it's pretty easy. You can just go through, pull it all out and get the entire fiber out. You don't have to cut anything or anything like that. Just a matter of pulling it all out. And I thought we could do maybe a couple layers of the mop head to do a nice full beard on our little Santa gnome. So this is how I did it. I just fed it in from the bottom, simply tied it into a knot, making it come down like that. And I'm going to repeat that all the way across to make a beard. So I just tie it, kind of trying to scooch it over as close as I can to make it super tight. And we're going to speed this up so we can kind of get through this little gnome beard today. And I wanted it to be like nice and full too. So we're going to use as much of this mop head as we can. And when you tie it like this in half, like half of the mop head's definitely long enough for a gnome beard this size. And so I told you I wanted it to be thick, and I still had some of the mop head left. So I decided to do some of the beard here on the second row of this wreath form too, just to kind of make the beard a little bit fuller. So I'm going to do the same thing. All I'm doing is simply tying it around. And as you can see, I'm only tying it once. It does not take much. You don't need to double tie it. Then I just decided to see exactly how much the mop head I had left so I could kind of see how many I could do in each row. It's not as tight as it was on the first row, but it did provide a nice extra layer of fluff to our gnome beard. This is the hanger that was already on there. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that so that we can make our gnome hat, which is also going to be a Christmas tree again. So basically, it's kind of the same technique that we used before. Using this, winding it around to make a Christmas tree. I just start at the very tip, bending it around on top of itself to kind of cinch it in there. And we're just going to go around and around the little gnome hat and make a really cute little Christmas tree, which we're also going to decorate. I kind of wanted to do like a vintage classic Christmas vibe on this wreath, and I love how it turned out. So that's how far one package of the garland will get you. You're definitely going to need more than one package for this one because the hat is nice and big if you find the same tinsel hat that I did. And we're just going to keep winding that around until we kind of cover up the beard part here, and we can secure that to the back, just winding the wire up around itself. No glue or anything required for that part. Then I wanted like a brim to the hat, something a little different than just the greenery. So I decided to use some of this lovely like red velvet ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I thought this looked really plush, and it's just about the right scale to kind of cover up the seam between our little Christmas tree hat and our little gnome beard. I'm going to have mine go all the way around just like that. And I can kind of hot glue the ribbon to itself on the back here. To form that, I also glue it to the structure itself to try to keep everything secure. And I just want all of the cage to be covered. So this is just kind of hiding where it comes together, but it made a really cute part of the little Santa Claus hat for our gnome. I do secure it with a little bit of hot glue inside the ribbon as well to make sure it doesn't kind of bow out. And then we're going to use those little gold Christmas ornaments from the Dollar Tree to make a perfect little gnome nose too. Super shiny and retro looking. I just put a little hot glue on the tip and part of the ornament so I can glue it underneath the brim of the hat like that, so it will peek out just like a little gnome nose. I also hot glue it to the mop head just a little bit to keep it in place. Now, I told you I want to do that classic vibe, and I found these great LED lights at the Dollar Tree. They're like the big multicolored lights, so I thought they looked really fun and retro. So again, it's just a matter of popping some AA batteries in here and testing these out, making sure they work, of course. And then we can string these. I really want like most of the light to be like on the front of the tree. Because there's not a lot, and I think they're so cool. And this looks so fun on my Christmas door for Christmas. Really got a kick out of this one. So I'm going to start up here at the very top of our Christmas tree, and I thought maybe we could kind of string them back and forth. I just needed to find a way to attach them, and I decided to use those little tiny zip ties from the hardware section at Dollar Tree, and we can zip tie that to the plastic structure to kind of keep that in place. I think that's going to be a little bit more secure than hot glue, and it won't really damage the light at all. Then I kind of go to one side and I zip tie it over there to make it look like it's strung across the tree. And again, I don't want to waste any lights on the back of it where you're not going to be able to see it. So I'm just going side to side like that so you can see all of them. So I zip tie to the left side as well and trying to space them out kind of evenly if I can. And we have a room for one more row. I'm also going to secure that with a zip tie. And we do have to hide the little battery pack in the back. I tucked mine in the brim of the hat so I could still turn it on and off, and I could get to the batteries. This is how it's looking so far. I think it's super cute, and I am loving the vintage vibe. I thought about using these little red ornaments from the Dollar Tree to decorate it, but I really wanted something a little bit more retro, so I decided to go through my Christmas stash, and I found these at the Target dollar spot. They're very classic retro looking, like little miniature Christmas ornaments, and I thought, you know what? Those would be perfect. I didn't end up using all of them, but I used a lot of them, and I think they're so pretty. Look at these. You can't get much more vintage Christmas than this. So I'm just going to kind of pick out which ones I think are going to look good and kind of space those out on the Christmas tree where I think they're going to look nice. I love the little gingerbread man. Adorable. And I want them all to be super colorful too. Now these came with like little strings. I thought that'd probably be the easiest way to hang them on. And so I'm just going to string them and tie them on to the garland itself. So this will be nice and secure. I can hang this on my front door. It can be outside. Actually held up really well to the elements last year. And we have candy. We have little Santas. Super cute, and I'm glad I decided to do like the actual items instead of the bulbs for ornaments. I think it really set the stage for this little Christmas tree gnome. So whimsical and fun, and a really easy project to do. You could get just about anybody involved in a DIY like this with you. So that looks pretty good. I wanted to make a tree topper though. I wanted to go all out, and so I decided to make one. So I'm going to use one of the little galvanized metal stars that I got at Dollar Tree, and then I picked out some bling here, and I thought we could kind of put it all together and make a little custom tree topper. It's not going to be lit up, but we can kind of make it look like it's lit up with these little red gemstones from the Dollar Tree. And I am just going to basically line those out. They're on a string of glue like that. So, you know, you can kind of make them go whatever way you want. You can shorten them as needed. I just wanted to frame out the entire star and those to kind of look like Christmas lights. And then these are some of the wood stickers from Dollar Tree, and they had a gold glitter star that I thought would be perfect for the middle. I just attach it with hot glue. And now we have the perfect size little tree topper for our little Christmas tree gnome. It's just a matter of attaching this to the very tip of the tree. And the hat is kind of like over to the side a little bit, which is kind of whimsical and fun for a Christmas tree anyway. So I kind of want to go with that and hot glue this on the very tip where it's kind of going off to the side. And I simply attach that with hot glue. Now we need to make a hanger for this so we can hang this on the front door. So I just string some twine in the very top of the cage from that used to be a little tinsel Christmas hat. Now it is a really adorable little Christmas tree gnome with a big fluffy mop head beard. So whimsical and cute. And how cute are those Dollar Tree ornaments? Now for the beard, I wanted it to be even fuller. So I decided to do the extra work of untying all of the mop heads into individual strings. So it's going to be super fluffy and full. But you know what? This step's totally optional. It's however you want your beard to be. This one, I just wanted it really lots of stringy. So that's what I'm going to do. So we are going to speed this up. Super sonic speed here to get through this entire beard. And I'm glad I did it because as you can see how much fuller the beard looks once you untie it versus just the mop fibers. And it also gives you that curly appearance that the rope had earlier from being unwound, when before the mop heads just hang really straight. And this is the final step of this little wreath DIY. It's a nice big piece. It fits my front door nicely, fills up a lot of area. It lights up for Christmas. It could not be a more Santa Claus with that big fluffy beard and so many fun details. This is how it looks hanging on my door, all lit up for Christmas. And whenever I can make a Christmas decoration light up, I'm always going to go for it. I love Christmas lights for the holidays. Look how full the beard turned out. So definitely worth, I think, unwinding it all. But this is how it looks from a distance. I picked up 2 of these like cheap bells from the Dollar Tree, and I thought we could give them a makeover and kind of make them look glam. They're kind of pretty as is, but I thought we could make them even more special. So I'm going to kind of take off the cheap bow and greenery and stuff like that and kind of give them a little bit of a makeover. Now, they're already gold, but I'm actually going to go in and spray paint them gold because I kind of wanted them to be the same shade as that little envelope that we just DIY'd. I think it looks just a little bit better. So I'm just going to stick a paintbrush in the end to kind of make a handle. I'm going to go outside with my metallic gold spray paint and just spray the outside of these. And I'll kind of show you, I'll do one at a time so you can kind of see the difference, to see why I did it. Completely optional. This is the difference. It's just going to give you a different sheen. I just think it looks a little bit more high end. So I'm going to go ahead and paint both of those, give them a quick dry. And then I was trying to think of something that I could decorate them with. And I have some of these rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree, and they are gold metallic. And I thought we could do something really fun with this design. Now, I only have one sheet of them, so I'm going to have to be frugal and kind of use the whole thing. And the shape of the bell is kind of weird, where I'm not going to be able to put down a whole sheet of them at a time. So I'm going to have to kind of cut them out. So I just kind of cut like a curvy pattern around the designs in there. So I don't really cut anything off. That way I can kind of cut it down into little pieces that we can use that transfer method and kind of put them wherever we need. And it's going to be nice and flat. And I'm going to use every single one on here. I wasn't able to cover the front and back of both of them, but I was able to cover the front and the sides of both of them, so you can't really tell that the back doesn't have any on there. But it's just a matter of peeling the back off, placing them on. At first I was scraping really hard with like a little scraper, but then I realized how easy it was for this foil to come off. And you can see how glittery these are. They're way more sparkly than I expected, but I kind of liked it. This one I did not cut the same as the other one, so just trimming that one down so it'll fit. And look at that gold sparkle. I think it's really fun and glamorous for Christmas. I'm just going to kind of repeat that pattern all around, just kind of alternating where I place those, just kind of wherever, like I'm doing it upside down, kind of down here on the bottom part of the bell. And we are just going to continue to do that. I realized they were so easy to transfer that I was just using my fingers and like my fingernail to scrape those down. It's probably the easiest ones I've ever used. I don't know if it's because they're like the gold foil, but they were really easy to transfer. So I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around. If you've ever done these before and you've done a pattern like this, you know it is a little time intensive, but I think it turns out really cool, and it really made these bells like really pop. I love the design instead of just being plain gold bells. I kind of wish I had 2 sheets of these so I could have done all the way around the backs as well, but I'm just going to use mine for a wall hanging, so I don't think you're going to be able to tell as long as I have them placed correctly. So I'm using like all the corner pieces wherever, and I'm just kind of repeating that pattern all over, kind of like a wallpaper print. And it just really gave like kind of a gold leaf texture all over. It actually turned out a lot cooler than I expected. At first I was like, I don't know if you're really going to be able to see the gold on gold, but you totally can. So this is how they look. I'm just kind of wiping off any of the excess to make sure it's nice and flat. And it has this really cool pattern all over our little bells. Now, I thought they'd make a really nice wall hanging to hang the two together. So they have like little holes punched through here where the greenery was. And so I kind of want to cover that up. So I'm just going to take some twine and bring that through and kind of tie that off. I don't really want to cover the center though, because I want to be able to hang these up. So I kind of need that part open and just kind of tie it around. I want to kind of wrap that around to cover all that anyway. And I think the twine will look nice. So I'm just going to kind of do that with rope. I tied this one off. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And then I'm going to cut another piece of twine to feed down through the center. It's not going to have like an actual, what are those things called that rings the bell? I can't remember. If you can remember, leave it in the comments below. It's not going to have one of those, which I think is fine. I don't think it really needs it. And I feed that through knotted on the inside so it'll stay in there. And then I continue that jute rope all the way around, filling in the hole and covering up the plastic sides where it was all kind of cut up before. And we're going to go through and do the same thing on the second bell. I'm so glad I've almost made it all the way through this voiceover. With this cold, I really didn't know if I was going to be able to talk this long. I have had to take lots of breaks and use cough drops, but I think we've almost made it. So again, I tied that one off, and then before I cover everything, I feed another strand of the jute inside, knotting it inside so it won't fall off. And then I glue this in a spiral pattern, working my way up, covering all the plastic pieces, and then cutting off my twine. I thought it'd be really kind of high end to do some wood beads on there. So I have a couple different sizes. I've got these on Amazon, but you could totally use the ones from Dollar Tree too. I thought I would do like a small one, a large one, and then like 2 small ones on mine. And I'm going to do the same pattern here on the other one. It's only going to have like wood beads here at the bottom part, but I think that'll make it look nice. And then I made the twine nice and long so that we can kind of tie them together. So I tied them together right about here. And then I'm going to tie another knot at the top to make a hanger. And then I kind of wanted to make like a quick, easy, like little swag to attach to those and to kind of make it like a little decorative piece to hang on the wall. Now I found this little gift topper for $1 at the Target dollar spot. It's wood. It says Merry in gold, so I thought that would be perfect. It's got wood beads on it too, which I'm going to cut off because I thought it might be competing against the wood beads that I've already got on there. And then I'm going to use some of this glittery garland picks from Dollar Tree. I thought this would go really nice with some of the DIYs we've done today and really nice with the gold theme on the bells. So they are wired, so I'm just wiring mine together. So I did 3 of them, and then I'm going to do like 2 more to form like just a little tiny swag. And I just kind of get a big pile of metal there at the top. And then I am going to attach it right where we kind of knotted the bells together the first time and bend the wire over to hang the swag on top. And then I cut the wood beads off my little gift tag hanger, and I'm going to tie that around too to kind of keep it in place at the same area. It's hard to see right now, but you'll be able to see it in just a second. Let me lay it down so you can see it. So the gold sparkles are so cute on there. I use some more twine to kind of tie everything in place, make sure the swag is not going to go anywhere. Just knotting that and cutting off the excess twine. Now we have a little hanger at the top. We have a little glittery swag, a little Merry tag, some wood beads, and our beautifully decorated Dollar Tree bells. Aren't they so sweet? And this is how it looks hanging together. I think this will look great anywhere. This would be cute on a door. I think I'm going to hang this maybe like right outside my bedroom. I have a little wall there. I always like to hang something really cute. And look how cute those bells turned out. I love them. I think they look really like traditional old-time Christmas, and they definitely look better with my few DIY touches. Okay, for the next DIY, I'm going to make a Christmas present. So I have 3 of these little frames from the Dollar Tree. I tried to find 3 that were like wood looking so they would kind of all match. I really wanted 4, but I only had 3. So we're going to make this work because I want to make like a little faux Christmas present out of these if I can. So these have like the little wood bead hangers on them. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is just remove those, get them out of the way. And basically what I'm wanting from these is just the frame so we can make like a little faux gift. Now the tricky part is getting the back out of these. As you can see, some of them have the little staples and some of them don't. And that was when I was like, oh, rats, what am I going to do? We're gonna pull it together and make it work. I prefer the ones with staples because they're so much easier to get the picture out in the back. But desperate times call for desperate measures. I just popped mine apart at the corner. And that was the only way I could figure to get those out. And we'll just have to go back and repair the damage that we caused. So I'm trying to smooth those out so that I can kind of glue those back together into frames. I wish they all had removable backs. I hate it when they do that with the Dollar Tree signs. Now this one I'm going to need to cut down because again, I only have 3 frames and I kind of needed 4. So I'm just going to cut the corners off of those pieces, and so I have 4 equal sides. One of mine kind of broke a little bit, but I think we can still make it work. Now for these 2 frames, we do need to repair them, so I'm just going to put hot glue in the corner of each one and reform the little frames that we had before. And then the frame that we took apart into the 4 pieces are going to be the side pieces to make this like a 3D gift. So I'm just making sure I don't have like any staples sticking out or anything. And then these pieces are going to form it out. Like I can do a piece here, like that, and a piece here, like that, and you kind of get the idea. So I'm just going to use hot glue to get these started. Hot gluing this one right to the corner and making sure I kind of keep my flat sides on the same side. I'm also gluing it on this side, and we're going to be kind of forming like an upside down little table here. So I just do the mirror image here on the other side, just attaching those with hot glue as well, until we have one complete side where we can sit the other side on top, forming a gift. So I put hot glue on all 4 ends of those side pieces that we cut down before, and then just gluing this all together. Now, I didn't think it was going to be strong enough just using hot glue. So to make mine stronger, I just use my staple gun, and you can see that I'm just stapling the 2 pieces of wood together. And as you can see, totally necessary because my hot glue was already not holding up just from the construction. But it did get me to a point where I can get started. And but the staples, as you can see, work way better. So we have our structure of our little present now. Now we just need to decorate it and make it look beautiful for Christmas. Now this is a great decoration that you can have out for Christmas decor. You can also put this under your tree. Super cute. I found some of this red velvet ribbon in the Christmas section at Dollar Tree, and we are going to wrap our little gift with that. So I'm going to start right here and just hot glue this right here to the bottom, wrapping the ribbon all the way around and slightly overlapping it here so we can kind of hide the seam here on the bottom by just hot gluing the ribbon to itself. Then we're going to go in the opposite direction here and do the same thing like we're wrapping a gift. Again, just a small amount of overlap here. Not too much, just where I can kind of hot glue it right there up against one of the little posts. And then I'm going to use that same velvet ribbon. Isn't this so pretty? And we're going to make a bow for the top. So I start by doing just the dovetail. So I cut a piece and dovetail each side. And then I'm going to take the rest of my ribbon here and make a bow. So I just kind of fold it into 2 loops like that. Just something really easy where I can kind of cinch my bow up here. So it's kind of a faux bow, the fact that it's in different pieces, but I'm just going to tie that all together with some twine. So I take the tail part and my little bow parts here, and I cinch it all together with a piece of twine so I can make a really large, beautiful bow for the top of this. I flip that over and tie that off good with the twine so it's nice and secure, but so you can't really see it too much. And then we just need to attach this to the top of our gift. So this is wired ribbon, so I'm just fluffing it up and then hot gluing it right there to the center on the top of our ribbon, securing it on there. Then to hide the twine in the middle, I was trying to think of something that would be really cute. I thought about the metal ribbon, but then I thought jingle bells would be even cuter, and I found some of these large silver jingle bells at the Dollar Tree, and I think that's going to be just perfect. So I thought we could do 2 little jingle bells. So I just take that same twine and we're going to string the 2 jingle bells, and we can actually just tie that together and attach that to the bow. It's going to kind of cover up where we use twine there to tie it all together. I just hot glued mine on. I thought that was probably the easiest way to secure it for our little gift. And look how adorable it turned out. So I used 3 frames from the Dollar Tree, a little bit of construction, and we have a little faux Christmas present. Now I wanted the red and white theme too, so I still have some more of those white glitter foam snowflake stickers, and I thought they would look so cute to add one of those to each side of the ribbon for that white to pop against the red, and I think that's the perfect final touch for this DIY. So here it is, our little faux Christmas present. If you don't have a staple gun, I would recommend maybe nails, but definitely hot glue is probably not going to be strong enough to keep this together, so keep that in mind when you're building yours. Isn't that so pretty? I think this will look great like around your Christmas tree before you have presents to put under it. Okay, the next sign, I picked this up from Dollar Tree, just from their home decor section. Had 4 houses for 4 letters. I thought we could do something Christmassy with that. Now, it is black letters against like a white background, which I'm going to Mod Podge the little houses. I thought that might show through a thin napkin. And so I am going to have to paint them to cover up or mask that black letter. And we're going to do a really cute little Christmas DIY on these. There's lots of 4-letter words that you could use for Christmas. You could use Noel. You could use snow. What else could you use? Star. There's probably a lot of words. We're going to do Noel, even though I thought about snow because of those napkins that we're going to use. But, you know, I don't believe in snow here. So we're going to do Noel. So I'm just painting the front of those. And then I'm also using my little brush from the Dollar Tree and just kind of dabbing the top to make it look like each one of the little house roofs has like a dusting of snow. Just a very light dry brush on the top of that. I tried to avoid getting any paint on the little wood beads that are natural wood in between each one of the houses. But again, I just painted them white and you could see that you could still see that letter through. So I did have to go over it with several coats before I was able to mask that. You know, I want to make sure that it's completely masked. I don't want any of that coming through interfering with my final design. Now, these are the Dollar Tree wood letters. You get the whole alphabet in one package for $1.25. I'm just going to pick out the letters for Noel. And then we're going to paint them white too, because we're going to make the little houses that red snowflake pattern. So I think white will look really pretty on that, kind of stand out. Just a very simple little Christmas sign, and I thought these signs were really interesting from the Dollar Tree, so I wanted to see if I can make something for Christmas with them. My Dollar Trees are all like a bunch of them have switched to Dollar Tree Plus now, and it's kind of, I don't know where anything is anymore. They've moved everything on me. I was kind of angry at first. And I'm using Dollar Tree Plus a little bit, but the other store that went Plus, I was trying to avoid it because I spend more money there. The $3 and $5 stuff gets me. But this is a Dollar Tree napkin. It's just red with white snowflakes all over. I thought it was really pretty. And I thought this would look really nice on those little houses, make them all the same color and pattern. And it is a 2-ply napkin, so if you're going to Mod Podge, you have to separate the layers to get this to work properly. But I love using napkins. It gives you such a fun texture on top. Kind of crinkly like look. And I just cut down a strip that's going to be big enough to go on all my houses. We're going to do this all in one swoop to make it easier. Now, once we have it all cut out, we can go ahead and start on the Mod Podge process. Whenever you do Mod Podge in napkins, again, very thin coat. I mean, as thin as you can get it of Mod Podge. And I do that on the front of all of my houses, trying to make sure that I get around all the edges as well. And then I'm just going to lay the napkin right on top. I kind of line my straight edge up with the bottom so I don't have to worry about cutting that off down there. And then just smoothing that out, making sure it's stuck to every single one and giving it a quick dry with my heat gun. I'm not going to Mod Podge on top because I really like that texture of the napkin. And then I just need to cut it down to size. I'm using my little finger sander. I got this at Target. It's really great for small sanding projects like this. The only problem I was having is like where the little wood bead was kind of getting in my way a little bit, but I'll show you here in a second how I fix that.
if any of the corners start to come up too, you're going to want to Mod Podge that right back down. You want to make sure that nothing gets ripped. So I went ahead and kind of curved out our first house. And then we're going to do the same thing here with house number 2. And I think it's just easier to do all of it at once instead of cutting down individual pieces for each one. And then I got smart and decided to bring out my razor blade and cut where all the wood beads were, because I really can't get the finger sander in that area. And I don't really want any of my napkin to rip off where it shouldn't. But the napkin is so thin, it's so easy to sand. You're going to get a perfect cut covering the front of each one of your houses. Again, avoiding those little wood beads. Now all we have to do is attach our letters. I'm just going to do like a couple of beads of hot glue. I don't want too much hot glue. I don't want it coming out, but just enough to keep the letters on there. They're wood, but they're not very heavy. And we're just going to spell out the word Noel. Super cute and just a fun little idea for these new signs like this. And something, you know, you can take something like this that's not a Christmas decoration and make it into one. Isn't that so cute? So Noel, our little napkin decoupage houses. And here's a little close-up of our Noel sign. I think this would look great in any decor. You know, most of my living room, I do coastal Christmas, but different areas of my house, I like to do different themes. So we're going to be doing a lot of different themes in today's video, so I can kind of decorate every little nook and cranny of my house. Now, this is why I try to avoid Dollar Tree Plus, because I get items like this for $5, but it's super cute. It's a white triangular Christmas tree. It's got burlap back. It says, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." And I'm just peeling off that pesky sticker there on the bottom. But we're actually going to switch up themes here. Now we're going to go kind of a more farmhouse, red and black buffalo check theme. And I know a lot of you guys love that theme and have asked for it. So that's why I wanted to give you guys some DIYs. And then I thought I would replace the little Mary on mine with one of their little wood signs that has the little deer head on there. I thought we could give it that farmhouse vibe on that. So I'm just going to paint that with a little makeup sponge and some red paint. Otherwise, I mean, everything's kind of already done on there. I guess that's what you're paying $5 for, right? My original plan when I bought that was I was going to make it a coastal Christmas tree, but I kind of have enough coastal Christmas decorations, so I thought we would kind of modify it in this theme instead. Now, used to Dollar Tree, I expected this part to be paper or cardboard, but it was actually metal. I was kind of surprised by that. So I'm just going to pop off the word Mary. It was attached to it with just a few staples. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove those two with a pair of pliers, and then we can attach our Mary. Now, I kind of wanted to be bumped out like the Mary word was, and the little bump out was attached to that, so I kind of have to replace it with something else. So I decided to use some of this. I have some of this really thin foam tape that I got at the Dollar Tree, and so I'm just going to cut out a couple strips of that. It wasn't quite thick enough to bump it out, so I am going to double it up, and that made it thick enough to kind of give it that 3D effect. And it's also going to serve the other purpose of attaching it to the burlap sign. So I kind of stuck them to each other and then peeled off the back, and we're going to stick that to the burlap right like that. It just gave a nice pop of color to this sign that really didn't have any color at all. And I'm making sure I don't really want to overlap the words above it and below it too much, so I did rearrange mine there a little bit, but the Christmas word, I like it. It can stay put. I'm just trying to arrange it so it pops out a little bit more. Then for the tree topper, I picked up this little tree topper at Dollar Tree with that red and black buffalo check that you guys love so much. And it's just a matter of popping off this little tree topper holder. I don't really need that. It's in my way. So I use a little bit of heat, and it's just attached with hot glue. It pops right off. Now there is like a little plastic tab that's still there though, so we will have to get rid of that because it's kind of in the way. But I think this tree definitely needs a tree topper to give it a little bit more character. So I'm just going to kind of peel off any hot glue that might be hot there, and then just use some heavy duty scissors, and we're just going to cut through that little plastic tab there until we can just pop that off. trying not to damage my fabric at all. And it's still kind of a hard part to attach. So I thought I would cut a little slit if I could in the fabric and plastic, just so I can kind of shove the tip of the tree in there a little bit more. It's going to give me a little bit more contact space when I go to glue it on. And my tree wants to lay all the way down, so I am going to have to prop it up a little bit to get my hot glue to dry. But I put a little hot glue there in between my tree topper and that beautiful wood frame for the tree, and trying to hold it up so it kind of stays put. And then I decided to also reinforce it on the back a little bit. But I decided I needed to kind of prop it up to make it lay all level before I do that. So I add a little bit more hot glue there just to strengthen it. And make sure none of that hot glue kind of leaks down on the front of the tree topper where it shouldn't be. But I was actually impressed with how well this kind of stayed put. I wasn't too sure if this would stay on there, but it's rather lightweight, so I think it'll be okay. The other thing I noticed is that my Mary was kind of a different color of red than my tree topper. And the only kind of dark red I have is this chalk paint by Waverly, but mine is so old and clumpy. But we're going to try to make it work. I just load a makeup sponge and I'm just going to gently go over this, changing my shade of red, making it a little bit more in line with the red on the tree topper. Being very careful not to get any on my burlap below. And I had to prop that up too, so that my tree topper still has a little bit more time to dry, but it is firmly in place now. And we have a Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas tree DIY. Very cute little frame. Just a couple of additions with items from the Dollar Tree to give it that red and black buffalo check pattern with the little cute little red deer on there. Just going to give it a different vibe than just the white and burlap like it was before. But as you can see, it's a really big Christmas tree, which is probably one reason why it cost $5. Now, I thought we should continue with that theme on with a Christmas present since we did a tree. This is an ornament that I got at the Dollar Tree, and the greenery on top is cute, but I thought it would look cuter with a bow. So I'm carefully trying to remove the greenery from the top. It is kind of wired in there, but it's also hot glued on. So I did have to melt the hot glue a little bit to get it to move, but I'm trying not to destroy the burlap ribbon or the red and black buffalo check fabric that was used to wrap the present. So cute. And it's easier than doing that yourself. Now I wanted to replace it with a bow, and this was the only bow that I had that I thought would work. It is one of the little red velvet bows from the Dollar Tree. But I don't really need the tails on there. So I'm going to have to do a little chopping of the tails here. I'm just going to trim those off. And then it did kind of open my bow up, so I'm just going to hot glue that back down. I just kind of want the bow loops there. And the color is really nice, that red velvet. And we can just attach that to the top of our present for another super easy Christmas DIY. I was trying to decide if I wanted it straight or if I wanted it diagonal, and I decided I liked it better diagonal. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on there and glue my bow into place. And now we have a little fake Christmas present that's going to look great displayed with the Christmas trees that are going to DIY with this red and black buffalo check. But I thought the burlap ribbon looked really cute on there. It's definitely that lumberjack vibe, but very cute for Christmas. And I always enjoy adding a little red and black buffalo check to a corner of my house for Christmas. And I think this will be perfect. It's super cute. I was actually going to wrap a present like this. Then I remembered that I picked up this Christmas ornament and I'm like, that would be perfect. It's actually pretty large too. And this is how it looks with my little red velvet bow right on top. I hope you enjoyed all 20 of these Christmas Dollar Tree DIYs today. You can catch me at Crafty Beach on YouTube on all social media. I do have a second YouTube channel called Crafty Little Beach. And be sure to let me know down in the comments below which DIY was your favorite today. I always love reading all of your comments. Enjoy the final reveal.
Hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. not freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh, yeah, that's what we do. We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. Here we go. All right. Dance, dance, now this Christmas, we're gonna dance. We're gonna dance, 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 come on. Dance. We're gonna dance, dance, have a good time. Dance, dance, all night long. We're gonna dance, dance, and have a good time. I think Santa's gonna come and join us in this song. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. Whoa, oh, oh, la da da da, oh, oh, la da da da, oh, oh, la da da da, making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased. But this is my favorite holiday. It's a chance to start over new. 'Cause I missed you, so I'm letting go of everything but you. These are the good times with you. Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh, la da da da, oh, oh, la da da da, oh, oh, la da da da, making our Christmas memories. I've been wrapping presents for you. I've been hanging marbles in the tree. And I've lit my house with Christmas lights. So you should come back home to me. And when we wake up in the morning, I'm gonna play those carols that you love. We'll be singing all the melodies until the sun comes up. These are the good times with you. Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh, la da da da, oh, oh, just gonna be you and me. Hanging by the fire chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, yeah. I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories.
Thank you so much to all of my crafty Beach Bum members for supporting my channel here on YouTube. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Nancy Warner, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, Live Another Day, Maren Christensen, Debbie Middleton, Adrian Brult, Red Mama, Tammy Muir, and Donna Tanner. And thank you to all of you that have reached out to me after the hurricane. My town was destroyed, but our house is fine now that we have power. So that is something I'm very thankful for. If you would like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member and support my channel, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video. You're going to get early ad-free access to my videos here on YouTube. It's $4.99 a month, and you're free to cancel at any time. Would you like more Dollar Tree DIYs? I've got you covered. Check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting.